place. Some teams throw, other teams don't. You know, people are taking wins off of each other, I guess, in scrims and whatnot. What sort of impressions do you get from both these teams? Where do they stack up against each other?
Um, I don't really know how they stack up against each other. Like I said, like I think it kind of depends on like how they look on a specific day, because people like they go into a match and they lose 2-0 to somebody, and then maybe they rethink a couple heroes and they come into the next series with a different draft or a different idea on the game, and then the game looks totally differently. It looks like totally different teams. Um, so I think it's kind of hard to say. Like, it kind of depends on the draft and how the teams look on like each individual day. I don't think one team looks particularly better than another today.
Okay. So would you say, I mean, the way you worded that makes me think that there isn't really a set play style that these teams go for? Is that not the case? Is there a game plan in mind for these teams and the way they work? Because, I mean, Mortals back when they were MVP Phoenix, they just ran at people, right? They looked for kills. That's all they did. Is that a similar case, or is the meta that we're in right now in Dota, with the way the heroes are being picked and the way it works with the shrines and whatnot, and the talents, is it sort of every team sort of playing in a similar play style, or is it something else entirely?
No, I don't think so. I think MVP still plays that same style, but you'll see like hero priorities go up and down, right? Like game one, DC like first two Pugna or something, and this game they don't even touch it. They take Furion instead. I don't remember what priority Jakiro's had if they banned it game two and stuff, but like the heroes shift up and down as you lose and win with them, so like things kind of change as people like figure out like what's good versus what. Because even though the patch has been out for that long, like you start losing with things and stuff, you lose confidence in heroes, and like things change.
A few rotations. I mean, some familiar sights as well, but the Nature's Prophet is coming out. Cannot remember for the life of me if we saw it in game number one, but in Nature's Prophet, pretty good pickup. A lot of global presence. Use a Treants for vision as well. All around pretty good. Not to mention the ult. Even though it received a few nerfs in the most recent patch, still one of those heroes that does get hotly contested quite often. And interestingly enough, Digital Chaos actually banning out the Sven here. Saw Q's performance in game number one was actually pretty phenomenal. Taking that one away from them for the time being.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting they picked the Furion into the Jakiro. That's like considered by a lot of teams to be a pretty hard counter to it, because the lane is just like super rough. You can die really easily on Nature's Prophets. You have a lot of deep push on Jakiro as well. So, and it's like also good at these like early brawls around towers and stuff, because the enemy kind of runs into you, so you're able to get your spells off. Like, it's just generally really good against Nature's Prophet. So it's kind of interesting they pick it into it. Like, they do have the Spearbreaker who can dual lane with the Furion, so maybe makes his lane a little bit better. But it's just generally not a hero that's that great against Jakiro.
Okay, well, we're waiting to see what Immortals get this next ban in a way, but it is pretty standard stuff so far when it comes to these drafts. Nothing out of the ordinary, so to speak. Neither team going for anything magical, but Lifestealer's banned out by Immortals. I mean, Lifestealer is one hero that I haven't actually seen played. I've just seen him banned so far. In the short amount of games that I've casted of Dota in this patch, it seems like some teams do put more emphasis on banning him out than others. Is this just a sort of thing against DC in particular, or is Lifestealer good at something that I haven't really clocked onto?
I think DC does tend to play Nakes a decent amount, but I think it also is a hero that does really, really well against some heroes, and then is just kind of meh against others. So, DC banned the Bat Rider afterwards. That's like what they thought Immortals was going for. You'll typically see if a Bat's first phase banned, you'll see the Nakes banned, because it's one of the better heroes against it. You can 1v1 really well. You're typically getting the jump with a Lifestealer lineup as well, because you've got some vision hero, and you infested blow some guy up at the start.
Yeah.
So Bat's not getting the jump, whatever. So yeah, like the Nakes ban is kind of indicative of like, maybe some Bat or something, but that's banned out. It's also pretty good against the Jakiro and Nyx. Like neither of those heroes really touch Nakes.
Hey. Well, ban-wise as well, we didn't really talk about it or touch on it, but Io's going to be banned out as well. They do not want Febby to get that hero, and on the other side as well, the Puck is gone as well, so they don't want Abed to be roaming around. The Puck was a real problem for them in that previous match, actually. It got to the point where as soon as he hit level 25, got that the gold talent, so to speak, and suddenly next thing you know, 10 minutes later, this guy is 16k gold ahead of absolutely everyone else in the game, and it was just monstrous, picking up item after item. But there'll be the Bloodseeker gone as well. Bloodseeker, another hero that's seen, even back in the TI, there was a few regions that were emphasizing the Bloodseeker to a degree, but they want him gone for the time being.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a weird Bloodseeker pick. It's not particularly good against Jakiro, and it's also a hero it's kind of hard to pick whenever you have second pick, because you don't really want to pick it and whenever like you don't have a guaranteed lane, because that hero likes 1v1s against certain heroes like Pucks and like Enigma. Heroes like this, he can 1v1 really well. And whenever you don't see the lane you're going into, like the offlane isn't shown yet, it's kind of hard to pick that hero because he'll get like totally owned.
These are some rapid picks coming out already. The Disruptor and the Monkey King going to be coming out for Digital Chaos here. They pick it in pretty close conjunction. Now Immortal's getting the next pick, but they picked up the Underlord. Pretty much a lane winner, pretty much wherever you put him. Very dominant. You feel like what's your opinion on Underlord then as a hero, Pit Lord, you know, whatever you want to call him, in terms of playing against it? Because there's a lot of global presence on Digital Chaos. That's the first thing that screams out to me with the Nature's Prophet and the Spirit Breaker. I mean, Underlord is relatively good in the regards that you can use his ulti to transfer absolutely everyone and also have a bit of a global presence. But against this sort of team composition, this team lineup that Digital Chaos are running, how do you feel like it slots in terms of that?
I think it's pretty good. It's very good against Nature's Prophet and Spirit Breaker, just because their hero, like you have the D push naturally against Nature's Prophets. The aura is pretty nice because like he's all right clicks and stuff, and then Spirit Breaker just can never like charge anyone because Underlord lineups are generally like 5-man centric, or you camp towers. This Underlord pushes out waves by himself and stuff. So it's kind of hard for Spirit Breaker to play the game he wants to, and with Pugna on top of that as well, it's like a lot of this 5-man just like magic damage everywhere, garbage, your towers are dying and stuff, like Jakiro Pugna. These heroes are pretty annoying to play against, and DC are reasonably slow to come online. Like if Disruptor doesn't have his 6 yet, like Spirit Breaker isn't having the greatest of games or something like that, like it's not super easy for DC to start fights because Monkey King can't really go in first. They don't really have particularly good team fights, and you know their offlaner's a Furion. It's not your traditional initiator, so it may be reasonably difficult for DC to actually like take fights or do anything because there's just a bunch of like 5-man garbage from Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Immortals team so far, what they're picking is definitely screaming to me a lot of pushing potential. Like you said before, you've got the Never Blast, you got Jakiro even with the Liquid Fire. Underlord can push in those lanes as well. Very much a 5-man centric team. Focused on those objectives pretty fast, but ban-wise, we're going to see a few coming out. In fact, PA was taken away. Digital Chaos did not want to let that one through. Is that mainly because they don't want something that can have that team fight potential? Like, you know, get a PA jumping on you, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
10 seconds.
I think it's more of it's just like kind of it's very good against the cores DC has so far. It's very nice in the lane, gives you a lot of kill potential in Furion, makes it very hard for him to play in the lane. And then DC just doesn't have that much damage. It's quite good versus Monkey King in the game.
Right.
CK is sort of the same vein as well. Like it's just another one of these melee PMS buying heroes that has kill potential in Furion. So you can commit 2 heroes there, something like that. And unless the Spirit Breaker is there assisting Furion, like he's just gonna die all game long. They have very little ways to deal with the CK illusions. You know, CK, PA, Sven, all these heroes, they kind of do the same thing. They give kill potential in lane against the Furion with the Jakiro, and they scale nicely against the cores DC has.
Oh, bit of reserve time left up here for Digital Chaos to make that last pick. I mean, what would you like to see in terms of this? Because right now this Chaos Knight pick feels like they've got them a little bit stumped in terms of dealing with the illusions. Don't really have too much to sort of counteract it, and yeah, like you mentioned, the Chaos Knight gives them a lot of fighting prowess that they might have been missing otherwise. And Immortals draft is looking honestly pretty hot for me right now. I mean, in terms of not that I'm sexually attracted to the draft they've currently got running, but they they're working with this
Underlord, man, is that your type?
Maybe, possibly. I don't even know yet. You know, I'm an open book. Can't really quite read me. Yeah. But what would you like to see then for this last pick for Digital Chaos?
I'm not sure. I think it's kind of hard. Nothing like lanes, particularly like it's some Pugna. It's not here. You're really gonna abuse that hard in lane. You want something that's nice for like Viper's probably one of the better choices they can have. It's nice against the Pugna, pretty good versus Underlord Nyx. I just worry because it's definitely not great against CK as the game goes longer and longer. And whenever you have a Viper, you have a Monkey King Furion, like you're playing this lineup that's very much on a timer, I think, because you just can't deal with the CK as the game goes longer.
Yeah.
It's it's just naturally harder to play when you're on a timer, right? Because your mistakes are punished harder. Because if you're behind, then the game is very difficult.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I mean, you can see that Chaos Knight pick. You can't really read into the mindset of a team, so to speak, when they're in the draft phase, because we don't know what's going on there. But you did get the impression that it kind of stumped them in a lot of ways, because they started asking themselves the question, how do you deal with the Chaos Knight at this point? But they tend to go for this Viper pick, very much early to mid game. It doesn't really scale as well, and to deal with this Chaos Knight, you're going to be having a bit of a struggle, if you do ask me. We'll see how it goes anyway, and we'll see how they set up these lanes in the meantime. But I've been seeing a lot of Jakiro being played in terms of, at least today, the amount of games I've casted. I've been casting quite a few, but it's one of the more hotly contested picks.
Yeah, it's good versus a lot of the popular NA heroes. It scales pretty well, gives you wave clear, and is very, very nice in the lane. It's one of the coolest things about the hero is it basically makes, especially against these dual off lanes, this cheesy stuff that's really popular right now, these Spirit Breaker dual off lanes, Jakiro is quite good against that, because it's just very hard to contest this hero's lane. Ton of damage, and dual breath is like a broken ability.
Alright, some early wards going to get placed for the time being. I mean, Febi's going to be laying it down in the upper area. I don't know if that actually did block the camp. I imagine it did. Might not have, actually. The upper area, I can't actually see for the time being with the pause going on, but things coming out. It feels like every single game with Immortals we've had a pause so far for hours and hours. So Quinn, I hope you're ready to talk about fast food, my man, because it seems to be the only way me and Sunsfan actually managed to wake our way through this. We don't know how long this is going to last. At one point, all of Immortals just disconnected. They were gone. We didn't know how long they were going to be. I think at that point, what were we even talking about? I don't think it was food, but it might have been. Honestly, I don't know. It might have been Chick-fil-A. Actually, that's a lie. But yeah,
I could talk about Chick-fil-A for hours, man.
So could I. It's incredible. But I got a better question actually, and it's Dota related. Surprisingly enough.
Wow.
We got a new patch that's coming, hopefully quite soon, because people are getting quite sick and tired of this one. What sort of heroes do you want to be seeing reinvigorated for the next patch at least?
Not so. Like whenever patches come out, I never really care about seeing new heroes. More of like seeing less of the cancer heroes that are currently instated. Like I'd like to see less Lich. I'd like to see less Pugna. These kinds of heroes. These heroes just make the game like kind of annoying to play. Like I don't really want them like to be good. Like when Alchemist was really popular and everybody just picked that hero every game. Like I wanted them to just like remove Grievel's Greed as an ability and leave him with 3 skills. But that's not going to happen.
You're not alone. I do hate playing against that Alchemist. Even casting Alchemist games, to be honest. As much as Sunsvan was digging into me earlier about it. Same with Naga games. Very much a boring hero, but
it's just a boring concept, He just sits around and gets more gold. It really is. How's that fair?
Early warding so far coming out. I mean, reasonably defensive stuff, at least from the Dire side. DC not branching out too hard with the warding missions. Just going to be keeping it relatively behind their own base, behind the river at least. But Immortals, they've gone deep, balls deep. They have actually placed it, and they are going to be blocking that small camp in the upper area. But nobody going to be attempting to go for any First Bloods or anything like that. But you see DC, they have infiltrated the jungle down there. Abed is totally alone. But at the same time, they managed to swiggle their way into the top lane, so it's going to be 2 rooms apiece for both these teams. And now Mason in the mid, he's going to be going up against MP on that Pugna. What's this sort of mid lane matchup like then, Quinn?
Both heroes farm, basically. At a certain point, Pugna's just going to start spamming out the lane, and Viper's going to sit under his tower and last hit. Maybe if there's some rotation, one hero can pull ahead early and then like just sustain that CS lead, but you're never really going to see one hero blow another one off the water, I don't think. I think something kind of interesting is that they're going aggro with the CK.
Yeah.
I think, and then DC dodges. This Monkey King hero like really hates getting aggroed. He likes having these nice 1v1s where he can beat the crap out of some melee hero and just abuse them. And they tried to get the CK against the Monkey King and just trialing him, because I don't think he'd have a nice time. But they end up dodging. But I think it's still pretty good for Immortals, because this Disruptor hero like really likes to have a pull. He needs a pull. Because this hero just does almost nothing with levels. And you can see Febi running over here, like messing with the pull, just like making sure this Disruptor stays under leveled. So even though they dodge on DC, I think it's still pretty good for Immortals, just because the heroes on DC like really need these levels, especially Disruptor. Whereas some Jakiro, if he's level 1, like you'd much rather have a level 1 Jakiro than a level 1 Disruptor.
For the time being, the lanes are relatively even. In fact, not much damage being traded. I mean, the mid lane so far, Mason's putting in some decent harassment into MP, but I don't know. I think this bottom lane is most likely where the kills are going to be landing because this dual ref, overwhelming damage as well. Furo just laying down the law. Abed already down to quite a bit of low HP. Does have that region to get back up though, so he's fine for the time being. But a bit of a rough lane as well, you know. Like you said, the dual breath, an incredible ability to have at level 1. Really does a number on a lot of them.
Yeah, and it's pretty worrisome, or it's like he's not having a good time as this Monkey King. Like, whenever you're playing Monkey King against some melee hero, like, you like to be just absolutely dominating him. They're running out of regen, you're full HP, you're just like abusing them. And whenever you're against Jakiro, it's not so easy for him to do that. He only has 2 tangos left, half HP right now. At a certain point, it may get to where Underlord's just spamming him out of the lane with the Q, which is, it's not what you want. Especially since he's playing against a CK, which he does not fare very well against as the game goes on and on. He kind of just gets like evaporated.
Oh, meanwhile, top stun comes out along the reality rift. Febby wants to try and work it out. MSS falling very low, but and QO, he's in trouble. Not going to be falling just yet. Going to be using that tango to heal for the time being. MSS super weak. Febby now is going to be on the back foot, trying to run himself away in this top lane. But one right click will do it. Mumiander with the first blood for his team. Team DC coming out ahead, and QO, he has healed himself up, but I mean, they tried to go in there, but that gank, I say gank, it wasn't quite a gank because they were all sat in the same lane. Meanwhile, while I'm talking about that, Faye, I should say Abed, he keeps throwing me off with these names. There's kills happening all over the place. How did he even pick that one up top? I don't know what's going on anymore, Quinn.
Yeah, it's a little bit wonky. I think the Underlord, he got like stuck on some creeps and tried to like walk back and forth and got pathinged a little bit. He didn't want to use his Mango to use the Firestorm because he's working on the Soul Ring, so he ended up dying with like just a little bit shy of being able to use his spell, but I don't think he's too sad about that. Like, he gets a free trip to base, now he has a full tank of mana. Jakiro has like 1 Q left in a couple seconds. They're probably just going to spam this Monkey King out of lane, and at a certain point, you have to think that this guy is... He's just going to sort of run out of places to be on Monkey King. He ferries out another set of tangos, which he probably needs to do, and Spiritbreaker is like pinned to just stay here.
For the time being. CS-wise, I mean, CKQO is not doing too badly. A bit of a rough game as well here in this off lane, but 17 CS not too bad at this moment in time. Meanwhile, the mid lane, as you rightfully said early on, they're just going to be farming it up. There's not really too much kill potential that's going to be kicking off between them. They're just farming as much as they possibly can at this point. And Bulba, he's picked up this haste rune and he's looking for opportunities with it in the enemy's jungle, but question mark is, I mean, the longer this game goes on, the worse it's going to be for them trying to deal with this Chaos Knight. Abed, he's farming, he's contesting the camps for the time being, just going to be trying to get those pulls contested. Now we see a charge coming in as well, so Forev is going to be the target, he's level 3. Abed wants to make the movements onto him, the Jingu, already got 2 stacks, can he get the 4th? Will get it. Finally, going to be finding it. It was very slow moving. He has the Boundless Strike. Dubu needs to be worried for his life now because already 1 shot will do it. 1 more right click. Does he have it enough? Dubu's trying to juke his way out of there. We'll get out for the time being. Dubu, will he actually survive this? Still, Abed not going to be able to find a kill. The Duke's around the trees. He finds it. Oh my goodness. Somehow getting that one. The courier also somewhere along the line took a lot of damage on the side of DC, but that was impressive by Dubu managing to find his way out of that scenario.
Yeah, the Mason actually has no points in Corrosive Skin on Viper, and Febby is set up to go for something here. He just hit level 6 on Pugna, so I think he can actually die because he has no points in the Corrosive Skin.
Ooh. Charge comes out. Nature's Prophet TP as well. MSS. He gets the tree and down to Crepify. Comes out with the Neverblast. Wants to try and suck Bulba down. He's healing up far too much. He might actually get a kill. He turns it around. The Neverblast on the back lines will do a bit of damage to Mason, but not enough for Febby to try and re-engage. Has to back off as he doesn't have the mana or any abilities off cooldown.
Yeah, it's a nice support from the Freya, and this is the stuff they kind of have to do. They have to keep applying the pressure and force Immortals to like use TPs reactively and not be as efficient as they'd like to be. Preferably take towers pretty early as well. Because this Furion hero just doesn't really scale that well against Radiance heroes. Like, it's a whole lot of crap that he really can't play into. It's a lot of 5-man, a lot of team fight, and Furion lacks in both of those areas. it's not really a game where you can split them up that well. They're just gonna group up, so he needs to get active early and make like stuff like this happen, because he will fall off as the game goes on.
Bit of trouble in the bottom lane for the time being, but they back off for now. It was a charge by Bulba, but actually get what he was realistically looking for. And we see an Invis room going to be here on Febby. This could be actually pretty good for him as he's looking for a rotation, possibly trying to get onto Mason. I mean, like you said before, only one level into this corrosive skin. Make it a bit easier. Now we're going to see it. The stun comes out. There's a lot of burst damage, and with the suck, that'll be it. The cherry on top. MP puts an end to it. Life drain finishing him off.
Yeah, it's a nice move. And it's just kind of hard for them to do anything about this, really. Like, they don't have that many plays they can make on the map right now. The Underlord is kind of untouchable. This Disruptor doesn't have his levels, really. He's pretty low damage. And you'd like to have, you know, some hero like the Winter Wyvern, Jakiro, stuff like this that can make moves and do stuff with the Spirit Breaker. But whenever you have some Disruptor, and they have just these ungankable lanes, you can see him just sort of standing around, not doing too much. Maybe he pulls here or there, grabs a Bounty Rune, but it's not the kind of game you want to have on Disruptor. You want to be the aggressor, making the moves, making them run from you.
Oh, Forev is going to be eating a charge, but he has MP, he has Febby with him. The TP tries to come out. Does he have anything to cancel it? Not quite. They want to turn their attention now onto the side of Abed. Get disarmed for the time being as it tries to TP himself away. Are they going to be going for the stun? Not quite. They don't want to risk it. Going to get himself out of there.
Yeah, the cores of DC are not the most mobile, and you know, it's kind of hard to move on to this Pugna because he's so fast, he has 2 nulls, so he's pretty tanky, and can always just decrep himself and walk away, or turn it with heal. And their only mobile hero is the Furion, who is up against the CK, which is the hero that they could really gank. You know, they have a Viper and a Monkey King, which are pretty stagnant laners, so this laning phase from DC ends up just where everybody just sort of sits in their lanes and chills, and it's just a naturally slow pace of the game, which is very advantageous for Immortals. They scale much better as the game goes on, their teamfight is better. So you'd think DC has to look for some plays, some options to get the game like moving at a faster pace, get towers going down, look for these skirmishes before Immortals gets items up.
Well, charge in the bottom lane, Dubu. They get gone on for the time being. Bulba not quite finding the bash. The Banner Strike actually misses. Dubu happy to try and TP away. So weak, he gets out. 3-man rotation coming out from DC, and they get nothing from it. Even the global TP coming out there from, you know, MSS. Now we see another charge onto the mid lane. MP trying to go onto Mason here, but Mason is far too tanky for the timing. The stun will disjoint it on the mid lane. And we'll be able to find that one. Ooh, okay. The Never Blast finishes off the tower. Now, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, definitely. It's, you know, you can see them. They're trying to put pressure on the bottom tower, but it's very hard against this Underlord hero. And they also have people that can TP. The CK is full mana, full HP right now, and actually uses Phantasm to put pressure on the top tower. But they do try and drive this Underlord. They can definitely try and turn this, which they may end up doing now.
The charge is out. They've already got Arbiter positioning in. We're going to see the TP rotation now coming in. Right into the back lines, but Bulba, he goes down. Again, this rotation not working out for them. And with MP coming in, along with QO, they can happily just start to push down this lane, at least push it out for the time being. And that was a lot of rotations coming out for this. Are they going to look to try and push this tier 1, pressure it down a little bit now that they've got these players in this lane, or is it just backing off time?
Yeah, most likely. They ported like 3 heroes here. Both cores TP'd, the Underlord had ported in a little bit earlier, so they need to get something off of this, because Monkey King now has a free lane top that he's able to farm up. Might be going for Battle Fury this game. Is a pretty decent game for it, as you're not really going to be able to fight him super early anyway, and maybe it lets you scale a little bit better and have a chance at taking this game as it goes later. Alright, no,
missing the last hit there.
That was wrong. Alright.
Echo Saber on the Chaos Knight, is it?
No, he's going Echo Saber on the Monkey King instead of Battle Fury.
Okay. Wow. Surprisingly enough, a lot of tier 1's down already. I mean, the mid tier 1 is finished. They are pressuring this tier 2 quite heavily. Where are the rotations coming out? It falls out the glyph for the time being, but nobody to try and really attack against this. I mean, there is no mech online for the Underlord, so they don't really have the sustain to stay in this lane for the time being. The Siege Creeper is going to be doing a little bit of damage, but now we see a bit of rotations. Boba has an Invis Rune. He is behind them. Could be trying to set up some sort of play here. Immortals are not leaving for the time being. They really want to be trying to push down this tower as best they can. The Never Blast by MP are doing a decent amount of damage to it. And if this tier 2 goes down 11 minutes in, they're starting to raise some question marks here for them, for DC. And now they're going to start to rotate a few players. Moomiander comes in from the side, but already this Underlord ult is there. It's out. He's going to TP back. They ended up committing a lot of ults in the meantime onto him. MP now trying to hightail it out of there, just running his wee little Pugna legs. He's going to be fine. He's out of there.
Alright, the Spirit Breaker bashed him, so Pugna couldn't get in the Uber, but he is running back in. This is a little bit greedy.
Might try and turn this one around. MP. Oh, he went for the life drain, but it didn't work out. Now he's going to try and TP out. This could work out against him. We were all calling for it. The bash. That's what they wanted. Didn't work out, though.
You always have to root for the RNG when people try and pour out like that.
Every time. Honestly, a lot of rotations as well off the back of this. I mean, the players got out, they're healed up, they've TP'd down to the top lane now. Doobie, Febby, and Forever just waiting there. And DC moving up a significantly amount. Abed ends up dropping down from the trees. And look at that, Reality Rift into it, the stun. He is gone. The Ice Path will be the cherry on top to keep him in place. And even though it is 5 kills apiece, it does feel like Immortals right now, they're in a much better position in terms of objectives.
Yeah, they're kind of just porting all over the place and walking around as 5. Which is...
Oh, mid lane. He is gone. MP. Decrepify will save him for the time being, but the Thunder Strike is going to be doing a lot of damage to Never Blast. You get a little bit of CS in the meantime, but nice little gank coming in there by Bulba, finding that kill. Much needed.
Yeah, it's just a very easy way for Immortals to play. So what thought. Oh, Febby's dead too.
Again, another kill. Absolutely. I mean, Febby, what the heck is going on here? Immortals just decided to take a little feed impact down the mid lane. Still, top tier 2 is going to start to get pressured to a degree by the CK illusions, but not going to be getting much else off the back of it.
Yeah, it's just it's a very easy way for Immortals to play. They can kind of just walk around, not care too much about their efficiency on the map and stuff, because they're playing a Sapphire and a Spirit Breaker Disruptor. If they split up, they're going to get picked off, so they pick these 5-mana heroes and they just waddle around together.
Oh, nice Ice Blast. MSS moves into the back now and already going to be laying down a lot of damage. QO ends up using the Reality Rift onto MSS. Top area for now, and a Jingu Passery. He's got it. Nice 2-man stun by Febby, but ultimately not enough to try and save him. We see the TPs are rotated. The team of Immortals are going to be trying to save this. Be trying to root them up. Does get off a decent amount of damage onto him as well. Just laying it down. In fact, everyone on the side of DC falling very, very low. Life drain coming out by MP now. Will he be enough to bring down Abed? Not quite. He survived 27 HP and a dream. And now we see the charge being used by Bulba. Much needed team fight. The mech going to be finally used here by Forev. Fight up to try and save him in the midst of it. And Duba will find the kill onto Bulba to trade it out.
Yeah, that's the classic run in one at a time over and over again until you all respawn enough times that you can take the fight. And despite losing like 3-4 heroes there, it's not even that bad for Immortals. They don't lose the tower, they don't lose any map control or anything like that. The CKTV's back up here, so we can just farm out this lane again. And Pugna's here as well, so it's like they're just gonna run down top lane. And Febby may set up to catch this Furion bottom, so they have some play potential with Nyx setting up in side lanes and maybe some CK ports in, they get a kill. But otherwise, I think for the most part, they're just going to continue to walk down lanes together, play as a team, as they're playing against a Spirit Breaker, a Disruptor, and they have the better late game. So they're not too worried about being super efficient, because even if they're down 2-3k gold as the game goes a little bit later, that gold will not mean very much because CK is just going to beat everyone to a pulp.
Yeah, nothing to deal with this CK right now. On the side of DC, they need to be trying to aim for that early game, as you've been mentioning. The amount of wave push that's on the side of Immortals is kind of insane as well. But the Jewel Breath, MP now going to be starting to lay down his Nether Blast into that tier 2. Q-Ops to use his ult. That's a sad, pitiful sight. Only gets the one illusion from it. It's always sad when that happens, but laying in to this tier 2 up top. Finding that creep as well. It's a hefty amount of gold that's just gone their way. Even though DC are looking to try and re-engage and go on to this tier 1 mid, I mean, the objectives are 100% going away right now of Immortals. They are in the driving seat, so to speak. They're going to be finding it. And they do have an opportunity. I mean, they wanted to. Don't have a glyph to use, but they want to go on him anyway. Mason, the Macropyre, is laid down. Going to be losing about half his HP, but forced to back off now.
Yeah, and you can see right there one of the weaknesses that Immortals draft has is that they really just have very, very little catch. Their only catch is a Nyx assassin who, can set some things up here or there, but if you're looking for a big team fight initiations, you don't really think of a Nyx assassin quite often.
No.
So as this game goes later and later, this is most likely going to be a pretty low kill game because both teams, you know, Radiant's going to group up and walk around together and farm, and they don't really have any plays that they can make. And Dire would like to find pickoffs and do these skirmishy fights, but they're just not going to get them.
They're going to try and force it out. The glimpse comes back onto Febby. They do bring him back into the static storm. Do they have the damage to bring him down? Absolutely is the answer, and they find a much needed kill off the back of it. They really need to be looking for opportunities off the back of this node. Febby falling is only down for about 20 seconds. I mean, if this gets stalled out, they've got Dubu there. He can lay down the dual breath, try and push out these lanes. Forever as well now. Also there with that firestorm to really do a number onto these creeps. Already, I mean, 10 seconds away. Febby's going to be up. And the opportunity that they once had pretty much disappeared.
Yeah, it feels pretty bad whenever you're playing some Nature's Prophet, you're playing a Viper, and you all walk to this lane, you get a kill, you're like, alright, we're gonna get a tower, and then the big space pig walks up, and you no longer get the tower, and so you spend all these heroes, all these resources to try and push in the lane, and then Underlord just shoves it back out, and you can't really kill him or punish him at all.
Yeah. Troubling scenario, and that timer that's at the back of their heads right now, they need to be finding a solution to this game early on. Let's queue on this CK. I mean, he hasn't been dealt with in the slightest. I mean, we're 18 minutes in. He's got 101 last hits, 2 kills to his name. Net worth-wise, he's sitting at the top for his team. Only being matched with Mason on the Viper, but again, that gold on Viper isn't really going to be as effective as it would be on a CK when it comes later on to the game.
Yeah, I think it'll be kind of interesting to see how these fights play out, because it is pretty hard for Dire to start anything, because there's just against a bunch of people that walk around together, and Rady doesn't really have the tools to start stuff very well, so this game is going to be quite passive for quite some time, I think. The Viper is actually surprisingly farmed top net worth, which is not something you'd really see on a Viper at a lot of these games. As I say that, though.
Yeah, I DC'd quickly, but I gathered the gist of it. I didn't manage to disconnect with a fight, and it will be a kill. I didn't quite miss it. QO jumps onto Mason, and as you were talking about the net worth of the Viper, he's gone. Down and out. Finish it up, and now we see another kill that's happening here onto the bottom in their own jungle. MP in trouble. Jingu Mastery strikes, and he will fall in the end. Nice rotation coming in. Nice little gank, much needed coming in. That's 40 seconds now with no MP. Bit of an opening potentially for them, but there isn't really any easy to get objectives that they could potentially go for. Meanwhile, Immortals, they're definitely hunting down for this tier 2 in the bottom lane, already down to quite low HP on that tower. The Firestorm from Forever is going to be cleaning out these waves with ease. Eventually this is going to be going down. Who's going to get the last hit? It's going to be QO. Bit of extra gold on top.
Yeah, something a play DC does have available is potentially getting a medallion or something like that, trying to force heroes to TP bottom, and then going for the Roshan, because that can maybe sway the fights a little bit more into their favor, and they kill it very, very quickly between Monkey King, Viper, you know, getting some Alpha Wolf to boost up their damage in the trees. So they may look to like push up bottom lane and smoke down there, force heroes, and then potentially TP back across with the Roshan.
Okay, so next time for QO. Meanwhile, I'm talking about that. There were kills happening. MSS gets caught out of position. Is going to go down, or I should say kills Dubu. Dubu was the one who was out of position. Sorry, apologies. But again, these kills on the lowest net worth player on Immortals team, it's not doing much. It's not creating these big openings that they're looking for, because he's already up in 8 seconds time. It's nothing that you can realistically play off. It's just a tiny bit of gold in the bank. And I mean, you said it earlier, at the end of the day, even if DC end up with, you know, a 1k, 2k gold lead, the longer this game goes on, Immortal's going to be very happy to just really prolong it and get QO as much farm as he needs. Speaking of QO, he's got some items on the way. I mean, he's building towards that BKB. Has the Echo Saber, has the armlet. He's already pretty strong as it stands.
Yeah, he's gonna get progressively stronger as the game goes on. I think one maybe worrying thing for Immortals is that this Pugna, like, he kind of needs a lot of items to do stuff this game, because he dies pretty easily to someone keep hopping on him, and now there's an Orchid. He doesn't really want to go Yule, so now he has to go 4-staff. And so he's just kind of... Oh, that's unfortunate. It's not on cooldown.
Yeah, I was going to say, Febby TP, and that could have cancelled it out. Doesn't get the deny either. The Treants are going to steal it away from him. But he will get away with the 2 kills onto the Treants there, so good consolation prize for him. But the pings are being made here. They want to be grouping up onto the high ground of the Shrine for the time being. Immortals are going to be losing their bottom tier 2. DC trying to press the issue to a degree, but now that mid tier 2, that's the goal for them right now. You can see Forev already just putting in the damage and have the mech on the hand. He'll be working towards those GG grooves anytime now. We're getting them up as he gets as much farm as possible. And I mean, these Never Blasts, they just absolutely demolish these structures. They are struggling. Pit of Malice is going to be rooting up Mason and the back lines. QO is a problem. Moonmeander absolutely destroyed from the reality of the suction. Now Mason will be meeting his maker. It's going to be the double kill for QO. And his tower, it's gone already. The tier 2 falls. They already lose 2 of their players. They forced the TP back as the bottom, I guess, Rax is starting to get pressure to a degree. At least the tier 3 was. Oh, that's realistically the only thing that MMS can do in this scenario is try and rotate. But again, when you're running a Pit Lord, you can just, again, TP these players straight back into the mid lane and go at it once again. Bulwa falls. And now, that's an opening. 2 players down for about 20 seconds. This tier 3 is starting to get pressured. The mech's on top, and I gotta say, Quinn, this game is looking very much one-sided at this point. This is going to be a Rax taking it 22 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and that's kind of how these games feel whenever one team has an easier to execute draft or just a better draft. Is, you know, the game's even gold and stuff. You look at the numbers, and it's not that bad for DC, and then suddenly they, you know, lose 3-4 heroes instantly. Their racks are dying, and they feel kind of helpless. It's not a good feeling knowing that we're pretty even on gold and we just can't fight them no matter what we do.
Well, here comes the chance to fight. They want to be moving in. The Static Storm laid down. They immediately destroy QO. He's gone absolutely destroyed. Now we see Forev also falling extremely weak. Febby just trying to back out of there. Yeah, he does have the Vendetta, but he's dested up. Meanwhile, Forev should be falling here. They can't actually quite kill him. The Firestorm doing a lot of damage. Macropire laid down as well, but they do have the Shrine in their base to try and save them. Force Snap up. MP trying to escape. The Sprouts won't connect onto him. It has a TP. Just pulling it out of his backpack. Going to be laying down a Decrepify, and that found a strike from Abed. Absolutely making mincemeat out of Febby, and follow up with a few more kills. Good defense by DC. Immortals getting off a little bit more than they can chew. Yes, they got the tier 3. Yes, they pressured down a lot of damage into the racks, but at what cost? They got a team wipe from the back of it.
Yeah, and DC needs to try and rush off this. I think they'll most likely try. Without the Aegis, it's pretty difficult for them to take a fight once CK has his ult and his BKB back up, which is quite soon, so they're probably going to try and scavenge this together. Immortals is up decently soon, and they don't kill it insanely fast, so they're probably going to contest it. I think Immortals is pretty happy about taking this fight here. It's very clumped up for all of their AoE annoying spells, but looks like it's already dead. It's pretty costly.
Yeah, right now it's already dead. They are absolutely demolishing it, trying to attempt it, but they are going to have to back off for the timing. TP comes out from Febby. Kinetic Field, he cancels it in the end. Does not want to try and take that fight, but meanwhile, QO getting CC'd up. Macropire laid down. Now he pumps up the ult. Bulba getting destroyed. Reality rifted out of this fight for the time being. Wukong's command going to force him out. Now QO with that fresh BKB. He's going to be using that bad boy, but he's eating a ton of damage. Putting in the right so he finds another kill with the help of his team. Laying it down. We see Mason finally going to be popping off a few of that poisons. Looking for the opportunity to life drain. So close to bringing him down. The DD rune on Mason is putting in a ton of damage, but Febby is there. Ready and waiting. Has the stun. Will find a kill. And Abed, though, answers back with a double kill. Kills going all over the place for both these teams. Neither side really coming out with the advantage, but still the Aegis is available. Still Abed holding on to it.
Yeah, it's pretty costly for Immortals going for the second Rax. It was very greedy. They could have just backed off, got Shrine, got Roshan. And then the game is very, very hard for DC to win, but kind of this sloppy, oh, you know, we can get a second Rax, we can't lose this game anymore. And then suddenly, you know, it gets to territory where you actually kind of can lose the game. It starts getting spooky. The Monkey King kills your illusions very, very fast on CK. So now it's in this...
Ice Path, Febby. He's going for the right clip with the global presence. I mean, MSS, he moves back in. Now Cure wants to fight this one. Reality Rift forward. Abed, he takes a fat amount of damage. Going to be popping that BKB off. Now MSS trying to save himself, but that Echo Saber doing a ton of damage, and Reality Rift pulls him back out of the trees. Abed desperately going for the Wukong, or not quite the Wukong's command, but he will not be getting out of there, and it's a double kill for QO, and immediately not messing around in the slightest. Look at this, the instantaneous smoke, and they're drawing on a map. They want to be going for that bottom racks.
Yeah, a little sloppy from both teams, but you know, whenever Dota gets sloppy, the team with the easier to execute draft will typically pull ahead, which is kind of what's happening. They're just gonna walk down bottom, and there's not really that much they can do to stop it. Pugner's just gonna blast it down. CK has Phantasm in 15 seconds.
Buyback's forced out, as well as the Glyph trying to save themselves here, but they pull Mason back. He's already down to about half HP. The Pit of Malice has kept him rooted, and once again, picked up Moomiander as well. Overwhelming right now, and his crits are insane by Cure. They just cannot bring him down when he had that BKB on him. So tanky. Already 3 kills off the back of it. It's most likely going to be a 4 as the double kill ticks off, and with no buyback, 26 minutes in, Immortals coming out on top with that superior draft, and they just push and push and push. That'll be it. GG's called. They're going to be winners now. This match moving forward. DC go down to the lower bracket here for the Dota Pit NA qualifiers.
Yep, I get to play against Jakiro Pugna Underlord tomorrow.
Well, it's not all bad. Not all bad at all. But I think with that being said, I mean, do you have any final words about that draft? Any final words about that game? It was very fast.